discussion in the MLB. We're going to talk about the AL. Hirsch?
The American League,
Yeah, American League. Not bad.
At the All-Star break, I think Judge was the favorite to win the award. He was like on pace to win the Triple Crown. He had a ton of RBIs. His batting average was high. His home run totals were obviously like pacing the league.
Yeah.
He's on the New York Yankees, which does play a big role into how these voters decide to vote. But he's taken himself out of the running with all these strikeouts. And actually, let me make a quick rant. The league has not figured out Aaron Judge because then they would find a way to keep his batted balls in the ballpark.
Yeah.
They haven't figured him out.
He's still clearing them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not...
Yeah. When you go on SportsCenter, you see that. You know what I mean? I feel like they show every home run he hits. I think he just... Was it the Red Sox? Is that this week's?
Yeah, he just whacked another one.
He has hit another one out of there.
And like, yes, I get his batting average is low. I get he's striking out a lot.
Yeah.
But if you pay close attention to it, he's striking out on high fastballs.
Right.
And his favorite pitch in the first half of the season was the high fastball. It's just he's not catching up to it because he's not conditioned to play a 162 game season.
He's a rookie.
Yeah, this is his first year. You're not. No conditioning you do in the off season can prepare you to play for 162 baseball games.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we see the same thing happen to freshmen, I guess, in basketball too.
Yeah.
82 games. You're just not used to that. You play in college 30 games.
And the only way your body gets used to it is by playing more seasons.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
it's not a fair argument.
Yeah, he hasn't been figured out. If I know a lot of people don't like the Yankees, but Judge is a good baseball player. Calm down.
Mm-hmm.
You'd still want him as your middle of the order guy on any team.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, the other guy who's usually it feels like he wins the AL MVP every year, Mike Trout. He's missed 6 to 8 weeks, which is a long time in baseball. I think he missed 2 months. 8 weeks is 2 months. And he's exceptional at the game, and even his historic, he's on a historic pace right now. It's just that I don't think he's missing 2 months of baseball. It's just way too much.
To put it into perspective, missing 2 months of baseball is like missing 600 games of baseball. Because that's how many games they play. Crazy, man.
And so, I think Altuve is the runaway favorite. He's hitting 355.
Altuve.
He's got 30 stolen bases, 20 home runs, which is a lot from a middle infielder.
Right.
This is Altuve's award to win.
You think it's not even close?
No, not at all. And the other candidates that I have seen that are very popular are 2 pitchers, Corey Kluber and Chris Sale. And they've both been exceptional. I watch every Kluber start. I'm a Cleveland Indians fan.
Right.
And I'm making it a point to watch every Kluber start just because of how hot he's been.
Right.
But I don't think they should be in the running for MVP.
Wow.
They have their own award called Cy Young.
Yeah.
And you can't really... It's hard to gauge a guy whose value is
Especially in the AL.
monumental. Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. Do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, so this is the American League we're talking about. And as I would assume 99% of people who are listening to this know, in the American League, pitchers don't bat. They have designated hitters who pretty much take their spot in the lineup. In the batting lineup, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So all they're doing is playing on the defensive side of the ball, which is pitching. And that's bullshit. If you're trying to be the MVP, if you already have the Cy Young Award.
What it's literally saying is half of the game, you're making zero impact on it.
And, Hirsch, we were talking about this earlier. Hirsch, you want to talk about, starting pitchers or pitchers in general, they only play...
They pitch once every 5 games.
Exactly.
And so, I guess the difference is, how do you gauge someone's value who is... They're going out there once every 5 games, as opposed to someone who pitches or plays every day, like a positional player.
Like
and
Altuve.
I get... Yeah, like Altuve.
Yeah.
And I get that pitchers... their impact in a game is bigger than a positional player.
Of
That's
course.
you can't refute that.
Yeah.
That's just fact. They touch the ball every single play, literally every single play.
Yeah.
It starts with them. But how do you compare someone who does that once every 5 games as opposed to someone who hits 3, 4, 5 times every game?
Yeah.
Who has to field their position, who has to run on the bases?
It's hard to
You're comparing apples and oranges, and it's like...
Yeah, an MVP in this sport seems kind of arbitrary almost.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Same
absolutely.
with football, I would say. It's very arbitrary, I would say. It's how could you say who's the MVP, you know? I guess they have like a defensive player of the year,
you're comparing too many things that there are not enough connections to be made.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think the idea of an MVP going to a pitcher, especially in the AL, is just stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, just...
What do you think about the whole, like, designated hitting thing in general, though?
I mean, I
about the, like, American League
I do kind of enjoy it for,
because there's better batters.
No, just
like, no, I enjoy having a difference. Like, because in the NL, there's a lot more strategy. There's, you have to figure out, like, who's going to bunt. You can't have the eighth place hitter bunt because the guy after him is worse than him.
Right.
Pitchers have to learn how to do something that they're not accustomed to.
Yeah.
And whereas in the AL, let's say it favors the players. Like, let's say Giancarlo Stanton gets old.
Yeah.
He's on a heavy contract. A player, he can't field the ball. Like, he can't play right field.
He can be like Big Papi.
Exactly. He could just move to the DH, still keep his value up, and still contribute to a team. So I think there's...
But then he's kind of taking us... I guess he's not really, because he's just a DH. He's not really taking a spot of a younger player then at that point, right?
Not really.
Not really, right?
Yeah, not... I mean, you could have young DHs.
Yeah,
I just feel like if you're a young DH guy, you're wasting your career.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I like
That's
having
a
a
good point.
difference.
Yeah,
I like
it's
having
good
a
for
difference.
Players. I never really thought about it that way. I just think it's kind of silly how, like, when an American League team comes over and plays like the Giants, for example, right? And their pitcher has to bat, and it's like, but if it's the Giants who are playing
in the
AL against, like,
then they get a DH.
Then they get a DH, and it's just like you have to have like an extra player on your roster then, or
you don't have to. It's just like, so in the Giants case, Buster Posey's a catcher and catcher's a grueling position, so they just put Posey in as a DH and play their backup catcher.
I see.
Yeah, so like that rule benefits the NL for sure.
Okay.
But I think
I'm cool with it then. Yeah. Go Giants.
I never knew that. So if an NL team plays a DL league, or American League, then they have to follow the American League's rules.
Yeah. So it's whose home ballpark are you in?
So
are you in
the AL ballpark in the World Series, right?
Yeah.
So.
Even in the World
Series, because it's American League versus National League, then. But I don't.
That was actually like it was. I thought it made the World Series that much better last year.
Yeah.
Because when the Cubs played in Cleveland, they got a DH. And that DH was Kyle Schwarber, who had his magnificent
I remember
series.
him, man.
And he tore his ACL in spring training. He didn't play. It was a great story. I'm a Cleveland Indians fan, and I loved it.
Yeah.
He didn't play all season. Mm-hmm. He missed the entire season. Game 1, his manager puts him in as a DH for his Chicago Cubs, and he had a magnificent series
of his life. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame he's not doing so hot now, but oh my God, what a story!
That's baseball.
Yeah, like
that's baseball.
Baseball playoffs are just magical.
Mm-hmm. It's that's when it counts.
Heroes are made and
playoffs.
Heroes are lost. You know. Yeah. No, I agree though.
I think it's more interesting to have one league one league the other.
Yeah. No, those are good points. Yeah. Just like from like a layman's perspective, until now, you convinced me now, but before this, I used to think, this is bullshit. Like, he's not even playing. He's not even batting. You know what I mean? When you think of baseball, you think of a ball and a bat. You know what I mean? So like, you should have to play both sides of the field.
So then, after all this, definitely, I would say, I don't think pitchers should be in the MVP running.
Especially in the AL.
Especially
in the American.
I know Clayton Kershaw won an MVP not too long ago, and I remember my initial reaction was like, Kershaw was so good this year.
Yeah.
I understand. But like as like time went on, I was like, he got the Cy Young. Does he really need an MVP too? Mm-hmm. But
he should go to a more deserving.
But do you think he was the most impactful player in the league though? That's the question.
Yeah, like at the time I felt like he was.
Then maybe he
deserves
it.
I'm not gonna argue that he didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
I just feel like another player should have gotten the chance.
I get you.
But I don't know, man. Like, how do you compare apples and oranges? Like,
right.
Is the Cy Young value the same as the MVP?
I mean, I guess because it's like Cy Young is specifically for pitchers, and it's basically saying you win the Cy Young, you're the best pitcher that year.
Pitcher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, except for the year Jake Arrieta won it.
Yeah. For the
for the Cubs, he won it, and he was like sensational the second half. But I'm still mad. Zach Greinke deserved it.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that too. So who do you have for the American League then? Altuve's your pick.
Jose Altuve. If you vote for someone else, you're an idiot in my eyes.
And do you think there's a risk of that? You think there's a risk of him not
anyone?
Baseball writers don't mess up as much as say basketball writers.
Okay.
So you think
I think it's set in stone. He won the award.
Oh, there you go, man.
There you go.
Who do you have for the Cy Young this year?
Oh yeah.
It's getting close. It's getting like Chris Sale was his first half favorite, and the second half is Corey Kluber.
For the American. So is the Cy Young for all pitchers or just
American League Cy Young, National League Cy Young?
Oh, they should just have one. They should just have one.
No,
pitcher versus pitchers.
I enjoy it this way.
No, I'm sure. Yeah. But I want to lose the champ. You know what I mean?
Top of the top pitcher.
So you think it might be Sale? You think it might be
Kluber? It's tough, man. Give me
put your flag in the sand.
Right now.
Put it in the stone
I'm going to
later.
sound biased. I'm going to say Kluber, but it's also recency effect. I think after the season, I'm going to have to like look at their season again,
right,
and compare it. Just because recency effect is just having me think of like Kluber is like God.
Yeah,
like, he's so good now.
Okay, personally, I feel like you should be valued more if you're winning like late in the season, right? Like if you're pushing your team over the top to the playoffs, and you're going in with
that could be a factor for some riders, and some riders maybe it's not a factor.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Chris Sale does have the advantage though because he's in Boston as opposed to Cleveland.
Cleveland's doing well though. They were in the finals.
In the sense of like there's going to be big market series.
I get you.
Biasness.
Yeah, there's going to be a bias with that.
Yeah. I feel like I've heard a lot about the Indians this year though.
Oh, they're on a 12-game win streak right now. Like they're a good team. Red Sox are a good team. Playoffs this year are going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
They're going to be so much fun.
Yeah, and our last podcast, I think we were talking about
this
like the playoffs.
This is like some serious teams.
Man, I'm just excited for sports, man.
Yeah.
Can't wait till October.
Yeah.
Actually, no, September 16th and then October.
September 16th and October, yeah.
All right, there you have it, your MVP candidate. Thanks for joining us. And please subscribe.